is no dome. 24-hour daylight in Antarctica crushes the flat Earth whether you can see the sun or not, but especially if you can see the sun the whole time, which you can. On a globe, it makes perfect sense, due to the tilt in Earth's rotational axis. During a certain part of Earth's orbit, the most southerly latitudes will be facing the sun at all times as the Earth rotates. That's why the sun never sets. Easy enough for even a child to understand. So if the sun were to set during that time, that would mean Earth is not a globe. Of course, once again, people are stationed there doing research, and anyone can go there and even apply for jobs there, so we know there's a 24-hour sun. But to flat earthers, it's all fake NASA CGI because reasons.
In order to fit the heliocentric globe model, this midnight sun phenomenon must also occur for observers south of the Antarctic Circle during winter solstice. Depending how far south the observer is, the sun should be seen for several days or weeks, never fully setting, just like it does in the north. In reality, however, there is never 24-hour sunlight anywhere in Antarctica at any time of year.
Well, neo-Nazi Eric Dubé, yes there is, and now it's time for you and your idiot cronies to see it with your own eyes. Government NASA Jew penguins be damned.
Let's say we are trying to prove the globe or trying to prove it's flat. Should be very, very easy, right? I mean, on a globe, we would have a 24-hour sun in the southern summer. That means that the sun would circle the continent. That's quite different from the flat Earth model where the sun circles the entire Earth from above, and since Antarctica is around the outside, well, that doesn't include a circling sun. At least not around you at the bottom continent.
You mentioned the sun, right? Like the idea is, yeah, if you see the sun in the sky for 24 hours, that's what the globe predicts, and how would the flat Earth explain that? But that's not what happens.
One of the arguments that people give is, on a flat Earth, you can't have a 24-hour sun, a midnight sun in Antarctica, and I totally agree. But there is no midnight sun in Antarctica.
In the flat Earth model, we say there isn't a 24-hour sun in the south, and there isn't.
I want you to pay special attention to the fact that for the most part, these buffoons are all flat out stating that a 24-hour sun in Antarctica debunks the flat Earth. And aw shucks gee whiz, it's too bad that the global lizard person government won't let us go down there and check for ourselves. That's going to bite them all in the ass, as you'll see a bit later. Now, I should note that as these videos were being released, the person making them was emailing all the flat earthers and flat earth debunkers, including me. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what to make of it. It felt like they were from some random flat earther, and therefore a scam in one way or another, so I just ignored them and went about my business. But then in the next video, the identity of the orchestrator was revealed.
I'm Will Duffy, and I pastor a small church in Colorado. And driving is where I do most of my deep thinking. And I decided on that drive that I was going to come up with a way to settle this debate. This would be the final experiment in the flat Earth versus globe debate.
But there is no midnight sun in Antarctica.
That's it. Antarctica and the 24-hour sun. But most importantly, Dave Weiss made me realize the single most important thing when it comes to the final experiment is that both sides agree. I do believe we live on a globe, but I came up with the final experiment because I can't prove it. And we simply perform the experiment together, side by side, with an agreement ahead of time that there either will be a 24-hour sun or there won't be. And what it means, depending on which one we find while we're there. And we will be paying for one person from each side to go to Antarctica for the final experiment. Who is going to go back on what they've been saying all along? If they do, that means they really don't believe what they've been saying to their followers.
Wow, this fellow named Will Duffy is gonna pay for a flat earther to go to Antarctica. And you heard those guys, they're all dying to go, so I'm sure they'll be lining up to take advantage of this generous offer, right? I mean, of course they would. Why would they say they want to go to Antarctica and then refuse a free trip to Antarctica? I mean, that would be insane. That would make them pathetic hypocritical, lying frauds, right? And flat earthers are famous for their intellectual integrity, so I am 100% positive that all of them will want to go. I mean, how could this go any other way? Well, we are now in the month of May in our timeline, and the next video involved a public poll to see which flat earther should get the trip. Guess who won? Flat Earth Dave, aka Dave Weiss. Oh my goodness, he's gonna be so excited.
Is we created this poll on YouTube and this one on X, asking people if they thought Dave Weiss would accept a free trip to Antarctica. And as you can see, the results were very similar to each other, but also surprising. So we got almost 1,000 votes combined between YouTube and X, and a major 91% of people on YouTube and 92% of people on X believed that Dave Weiss would not accept a free trip to Antarctica.
For shame. You guys are totally out of line. Weiss is a man of honor. He said he would go to Antarctica, and he's going to stick to his word, obviously.
Dave Weiss and I have been in communication, and he has said no. He's unwilling to go to Antarctica. So, whatever you guys all knew, all of you who voted and said no, you were right. Now, there's probably going to be speculation as to why he said no, and I want to kind of stay away from all of that. So I'm just going to tell you and show you here on the screen his exact words to me as to why he's unwilling to go to Antarctica. Here's what he said. Here's his original email. And he said this: as I said before, I want nothing to do with you whatsoever. He's talking to me. I don't trust you at all. The people you hang with are demons and liars, in my opinion. There's his answer.
Now, that is shocking. Who would think that a guy who lies about the shape of the earth to make money on the internet would decline an opportunity to disprove his own grift? Truly unexpected. But hey, at least he had a good reason. I mean, demons are scary and also real. You don't want to mess with demons, which, again, are a real thing. It's better for Widow Boy Davy to stay home, I guess. So where do we go from here?
We're now going to move on to the next person in line, who is Jaron Campanella.
The second choice is Jaren, who once again you may remember as the globebuster who humiliated himself the least in my response to them. That's an achievement, I guess. In the meantime, a poll was run to choose the normal person who would go, and that went to Flat Earth debunker Dave McKeegan.
So we ran this poll right here on YouTube. We received almost 1,000 votes, and the voting wasn't even close. As you can see, Dave McKeegan won the vote.
I guess this Dave isn't afraid of demons. What a brave warrior. So the globe representative is locked in. Now back to Jaren.
Jaren has asked me to make a public video stating that I will cover all of his expenses for our trip to Antarctica this December. There's going to be additional expenses like flying to South America and food and lodging in South America before the flight to Antarctica. Jaren thinks that these added expenses could get all the way up to $45,000. I don't think they'll go that high, but yes, if they do go that high, Jaren, I will cover all of your expenses. I believe you're in California, and so you probably don't have any winter clothing. That will be required as well, so all expenses will be covered, even if it goes all the way up to $45,000.
$45,000, Jaren? Are you gonna charter a private jet to get to South America and eat Almas caviar the whole way there? Pretty freaking ridiculous, and a very obvious attempt to weasel out of going by throwing out an unreasonable number that nobody in their right mind would be willing to pay. And yet, Will delivers. Now what? Oh yeah, Jaren can whine about having to go alone. He needs a buddy.
But I wouldn't accept it yet because of the fact that I would want another person to go. I don't want to stay in a tent with Dave McKeegan. That sounds like a nightmare. If there was another flat earther that you were to select, that you were to send both of us down there, and then we could request to stay in the same tent. So now I'm staying in the same tent as this flat earther.
But I'm ready to commit to pay for you and one other person.
You ready to commit?
For flat earther.
And all expenses for both.
That's right.
Okay.
Will is just coming through like a champion. Need extra money to get down there? No problem. Need to utilize the buddy system? No problem. Will agrees, and Jaren is right back in the same predicament. What else could these tools whine about?
We've been getting a lot of comments and emails from flat earthers stating that we are not going to be able to prove that we are actually in Antarctica this December.
Yeah, you tricky globehead, you're gonna just say it's Antarctica, but in actuality, it'll be some other frozen, barren wasteland that is somehow right on the South Magnetic Pole. You can't fool us.
This is where the trip will begin. So we are going to be at the southern tip of South America. And then this star here is Punta Arenas, Chile, which is where we are going to begin. Now, we are going to be taking a flight from Punta Arenas that's about a 4.5-hour flight in order to get to Antarctica. So my challenge for anybody that is wondering how we know we will be in Antarctica or how we can prove that we are flying to Antarctica is to explain to me where we can get to on a 4.5-hour flight from Punta Arenas.
Not much else needs to be said here. There is no other place on Earth that is like Antarctica, and there's nowhere they can get to other than Antarctica by flying south from the southern tip of South America. This is the most pathetic excuse imaginable. Flat Earth debunkers like MC Toon, on the other hand, went on the record saying that if everyone went and the sun was to set during their stay, that he would delete his content and become a flat earther.
If the sun sets or if it stays north within a particular variance, I will say that the Earth is flat. I will upload a video to my channel saying that the Earth is flat, to both of my channels saying the Earth is flat, and then I will delete all of my other videos.
His website has a list of similar promises made by other debunkers. And why don't I add myself to this list? My plucky little flurf balls, if you go down to Antarctica in December and the sun sets, I will delete all my flat earth debunks from my channel. And I will upload a video saying that the earth is flat and that I'm a big dumb shill. Come on, morons, don't you want to see evil Professor Dave admit that he's a big shill? You gotta get down there. But no, the excuses just kept coming. It was at this point that flat earthers really started losing their minds as they desperately scrambled for any reason they could possibly come up with to avoid going. Here's a flat earther who's come up with an interesting idea.
Austin is a shill. He has been a shill all along. And Austin is a shill. He gets jetted alive to dead in Antarctica. He comes back from there saying there's a 360-degree sun.
That's right, Austin was a shill all along, and he's going to murder Jaren. I love how they're already preemptively throwing these guys under the bus, since they know they're absolutely going to see the 24-hour sun if they can find the courage to go. So they have to resort to calling them shills and casting them out of the Flat Earth community so that they can continue spewing their stupidity unfazed. Immaculate. Other flat earthers began frantically backpedaling on their admission that a 24-hour sun in Antarctica debunks the flat earth, inventing gibberish and soiling themselves for half an hour at a whiteboard.
The male meets the sun becomes a hermaphrodite. That's the only time they can actually create spiritual children. It's through the solar eclipse. It's when the spiritual sperm, check out my Patreon page.
Cutting-edge science you have there, lunatic. Sounds like you've been studying under Terrence Howard.
And they call that a bisexual tone.
Energy is being reproduced. There's a sexual mating.
Groundbreaking stuff. I'll be sure to support you on Patreon right away. Other flat earthers started claiming that NASA is going to put a sun simulator in the sky to trick the flat earthers.
NASA simulates the sun's power on Earth to test. Let's go look at it. Look at that. So they're already simulating the power. This is the European Space Agency Solar Simulator. Are you seeing this? Okay. Because I know you're seeing it. I'm seeing it. Okay. This is their solar. Look how big it is. Look at all those wires.
Yeah, a sun simulator. Hey, that's kind of like Simulated Sun, my musical project that everyone should go check out and subscribe to, which sounds like this. It knows your face and what
you wanna be, whispering a blade of fantasy. We'll be lost in
Sorry, I couldn't resist. Anyway, if these boners are so worried about a fake spotlight sun in the sky, they can just bring a telescope with a solar filter pointed at the sun and see that it's the same sun everyone else on Earth is seeing. They can verify this by recording the locations of sunspots and comparing them to observations made by a friend back home to confirm that they're seeing the same sunspots. They can record the direction it rotates, which changes based on latitude, just like how the orientation of the moon changes based on latitude. They can even make a prediction and either verify or falsify it on location, since they're such whiny toddlers regarding what qualifies as an experiment. Beef it up a little, guys. Oh right, they have no real interest in doing science. Then in July, some guy named Alex Stein got into the mix. Who is that? I didn't know either, but it's this guy.
Hello, Council. My name's Primetime 99 Alex Stein, and I have a little presentation for you today. I have a little audio accompaniment. Primetime 99 on the grind all the time. Go insane for Ukraine.
Sick track, bro. What is it with flat earthers and terrible rapping? Anyway, apparently he's a flat earther, and alt-right beanie baby Tim Pool agreed on the air to pay for him to go to Antarctica.
If you want to go on an expedition, ain't nobody stopping you.
That's not true.
Where are you? Like, where does this story come from that you can't go to Antarctica?
You can go to Antarctica. There's no independent exploration. So if I go to Antarctica, it's government approved.
That's fun.
Well, no, I would do.
Right now,
actually people that are trying to do that. And I'll be the first one to go, and then you can send me to space too. I want to go to the International Space Station.
Well, how much do you think we need to get you to traverse Antarctica?
I don't know, probably $100,000, I guess.
That's it. Let's do it. Done.
I'll go to Antarctica, right?
It's a rare day when someone can make walking foreskin Tim Pool seem intelligent, but this bozo made it happen, and you can see how sheepish he gets when he, like Jaren a bit earlier, throws out some huge number to sabotage his own suggestion, and the other person agrees to pay it anyway. He's been dead silent on this matter since that day, in case you were wondering. By the way, Tim was right. Anyone can traverse Antarctica. Many people have done so, and several have even done it by themselves. Every flat earther who claims people can't freely explore Antarctica is completely full of shit. In the meantime, the rest of the flat earthers were panicking and pleading with Jaren not to go, because the simplest solution is for all of them to just ignore all of this, never go anywhere or do anything, and continue spewing the same dumb script forever.
Don't do it, Jaren. Don't you dare do it. So they're gonna do two brandings. One is gonna be the 24-hour sun, and then they're gonna flip it to the midnight sun. And then they're gonna edit you guys saying, yeah, you can see the sun at midnight. And then when you don't see the 24-hour sun, they're just gonna say, well, it was a midnight sun. They're gonna flip it on you. That's what they always do.
Yeah, you're totally right, young ZZ Top. They are gonna sit in a dark, windowless room the entire time and only go outside right at midnight for 10 seconds. They're definitely not going to look at the sky for 24 hours straight, the exact thing they're going there to do. And of course, most of the others just completely turn on Jaren, as we mentioned before.
And I'm hoping somebody as smart as Jaren, he's a motherfucker, if you ask me. Lying son of a bitch. If anybody goes there, I hope they're going to use their brain, if they have one, to figure out, maybe that's not the actual sun. Why am I seeing two suns in the sky? Because if they're having a sun simulator, there's going to be two suns in the sky at some point.
Now I know what you're thinking. Here's a guy who's really got his head on straight. Two suns in the sky, a thing we've totally all seen before, and not just on Tatooine. He's nailing it. But some other moments in this little soliloquy don't hit quite as hard.
And I'm going to do, actually I should do this tonight, because I know it's not windy. I'm going to show you, oh wait, I think I hear the trumpets. Just a little bit of advice.
Flowers have bloomed. Yeah.
Is that the firmament? Is that the trumpets? I will give you my example. Oh, wait. I think they were supposed to come around early tonight, the trumpets. We might have to go look for them.
I genuinely couldn't write a monologue this insane if I tried, and trust me, I have.
Oh, let's pick a specific day. Okay. Whatever. Why not all the month of December? Why not the Christmas week, the week of December? Why not December 18th? Why not December 27th? Why not do it for 2 weeks? Why not do it for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days? Interesting.
Yes, random bald idiot, why don't they all just permanently move to the South Pole? Because they're really government shills? I think I've subjected you to enough of that. And anyway, it's time to pivot once again to Flat Earth guru, neo-Nazi Eric Dubé. After 5 months, he finally decided to speak up about the matter.
So what is Will's brilliant idea? What is his ingenious experiment to finally silence all globe skepticism? Invite 12 Flat Earth YouTubers and 12 Globe Earth YouTubers to Antarctica in December to see if there's a midnight sun. In other words, the final experiment is not an experiment, and not even a demonstration, but merely an observation. In typical Globe Defender strawman fashion, Will is conflating a celestial observation with our terrestrial foundation. He's claiming that the motion of a light in the sky overhead somehow gives proof of the shape of the ground underfoot.
It's not a Flat Earth video without someone shouting straw man for no reason and whining about observations of the sky that definitely disprove a Flat Earth.
The only reason this straw man argument even has any legs to stand on are because a couple suspicious, shilly, so-called Flat Earthers who I have repeatedly called out as disinformation agents, like Jaren from Jarenism, have claimed that they believe a midnight sun in Antarctica somehow does prove the globe.
You guys, so much fighting. You're supposed to be on the same dumb team. Of course, this pageantry is all very transparent, since there are countless examples of Eric singing a very different tune about Antarctica and what should be seen there.
Well, why can't I? Similar to, like, Antarctica. But why can't I go see for myself? Why are you just telling me, oh, it's a globe, it's a little continent on the bottom, you don't fall off because of gravity, you're good, don't bother going there. Well, why can't I go and see?
Excluding overpriced, chaperoned penguin tours and government-approved contractors, nobody is allowed to step foot in Antarctica, especially not during winter solstice, when there should supposedly be constant 24-hour sunlight. In reality, however, there is never 24-hour sunlight anywhere in Antarctica at any time of year. There is, in fact, never 24-hour sunlight anywhere in Antarctica, because even when the sun reaches its outermost circuit over the Tropic of Capricorn, the entirety of the Antarctic circumference cannot be reached by its light at any one time, and so it will still set every day.
You seem pretty confident about that, Eric. Don't you think it'd be a good idea to go and check for yourself? As you've stated many times you're dying to do, and which you have no excuse to not do with someone paying for you to go? Oh right, if you did the thing you've been pretending to want to do for years, you'd just be a big shill like Jaren.
If someone is telling you that it doesn't matter if there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, they are lying to you. So I'd like to think if you're here watching this show, you are actually a truth seeker. And if you are a truth seeker, then you shouldn't appreciate other truthers lying to your face. Listen again, anybody telling you that the 24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't matter is a fucking liar. Why? Because it's impossible on our motherfucking model.
I suppose you can give Jaren an ounce of credit for displaying a modicum of integrity here, though I would wager that he's just sick of the grift and sees this as a way to jump ship and reclaim some semblance of respect from normal humans. But either way, we can at least say that he's a better person than all the other idiots in his camp. He's the only one who is remaining consistent on a position that virtually all of them have specifically expressed for years.
All we'd have to prove is go to Antarctica. Let me and you go to Antarctica, spend a week there in the summer, and let's see if the sun does a 360-degree circle all the way around us. If so, it's a ball. But if the sun comes in this way and then leaves that way, then it's not.
Is that
Yeah,
what we're
it's
saying?
doctored, and they admit it's doctored.
So then why can't we go and just see it for ourselves?
Well, let's just see if they'll let us.
Oh, they will let us. I've already checked into it.
right.
They'll absolutely let us.
Let's go.
They will absolutely let us.
Now, when I heard this firsthand, I was shocked. This was the exact same thing that I was already working on. And by the way, this excitement wasn't just during the debate. Check out what Robot Polisher said on X, on Twitter, after the debate. He said, let's settle this whole flat earth thing once and for all. To Antarctica.
Let's settle it once and for all. But no, wait, let's not actually do it, because it will be settled, and we will have to all admit the Earth isn't flat. A bunch of toddlers.
The same Robot Polisher guy who stood with Dean Odell and said we should go to Antarctica to settle the flat Earth debate, then posted this tweet a couple months ago about me and TFE. He says, leave it to the Globies to come up with the brilliant idea of traveling to Antarctica on a guided tour to look at the sky in order to determine the shape of the ground. You supported his brilliant idea and you wanted to do it. What changed?
It's cartoonish. They are like dumb people in a cartoon, and we should all treat them as such. Anyone who contradicts themselves in such a transparent and toxic manner should never be taken seriously for the rest of their lives. Not that anyone takes flat earthers seriously in the first place. Instead of actually doing something with their time and flying to Antarctica like big boys, they just make dumb songs like this.
You do the glowy pokey, and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
If Dubé's Jew-hating wasn't enough for you, toss some blatant homophobia into the mix, I suppose. Also, call me pedantic, but you can get better Photoshop work on Fiverr. By the way, the guy who made this is the same idiot who flip-flopped in his tweets a minute ago, and specifically as a response to being called out for flip-flopping in those tweets. Astounding. Anyway, moving along in the timeline, we arrive at late August. What's the status at this point with who's going on the trip?
And you will quickly notice there is a pattern emerging. The colors quickly show you and tell you a story. On the globe side, all you have there are people who have agreed to go to Antarctica, or who paid to go to Antarctica, or who are crowdfunding to go to Antarctica. Now contrast that with the Flat Earth side, whose list is getting quite long. On the Flat Earth side so far, all we have is people either declining or free trips being offered to them that are just pending. So the offer has been made and all they have to do is accept it. All they have to do is say yes and receive it, and then they will get to go to Antarctica without spending a dime.
Please try to contain your disbelief. It's true, none of the Flat Earthers have formally accepted the trip yet, not even Jaren. Offers kept pouring in for people willing to pay for specific Flat Earthers to go, like Nathan Oakley, probably the most obnoxious of all of these half-wits, apart from being genuinely extremely stupid and also a child abuser.
I missed that. Oh my god. Yeah. Right, go on.
Careful.
Anything that's moving with regard to something else is...
No.
Nathan, question. You ready? How do you convert meters into kilometers?
I don't know. How do you convert meters into kilometers?
What's the correct way?
You tell me.
The correct way is divide meters by 1,000. You didn't do that.
So if you have a meter and I divide that meter by 1,000, you don't think that would give you millimeters?
Meters into kilometers, Nathan.
You just said
That's
you
what I'm
divide
talking
meters by 1,000 to get kilometers. So you're saying I divide something that is 1 meter long by 1,000, and that will come out to a kilometer value.
Nathan,
it sounds like you are quite
track.
literally retarded with that statement. You do not divide meters to come out with kilometers.
Hard to believe that's a real person, huh? Kind of seems like a Monty Python character, huh? Anyway, what reason could this wanker have to not take the trip?
But he said he doesn't want to go with us to Antarctica because he says the final experiment is not an experiment, but is actually fraud. Yes, he says it's fraud, and he doesn't want to participate in fraud. Don't believe me that he said this? Hear for yourself.
Now he's inviting me to go along, and I'm saying I don't need to go along because you're affirming the consequent with a pseudoscience fraud. Now, not only have I said I don't want to go with him, I've called him a fraud. Because he is. He's saying he's got an experiment. No, you're a fraud. You want to know why I won't go down to Antarctica? Interview me about him. Because I don't associate with frauds. Why is he a fraud? He said he's got an experiment.
Well, that doesn't reek of desperation at all, especially since he too has gone on the record saying this.
In the one model, the heliocentric model, it would necessitate having a 24-hour sun in the south. Now, further to the fact that we do have a 24-hour sun in the south, the north, we do not have a 24-hour sun in the south. So the reality of our world is that in both models, we're supposed to have a 24-hour sun. In the flat Earth model, we say there isn't a 24-hour sun in the south, and there isn't. And there is a 24-hour sun in the north, and there is.
Pretty sure of yourself there, eh, Nate Dogg?
Someone named Robbie O'Hare asked someone, fancy a trip to the South Pole? And Nathan replied to that comment saying, yes, I'd love to go, but you have to take an escorted trip. So Nathan previously said we need to go to Antarctica and that he would love to go to Antarctica. But now that someone is willing to pay for him to go, he does not want to go anymore.
Just like the rest of them, including this German flat earther named Volker Meyer.
Well, Mr. Meyer is a prominent flat earther on Facebook. He resides in Germany and has been proudly defending flat earth on Facebook for quite a while. Now, when Mark Harmon heard about TFE, he issued this public challenge to Flickr. He offered to pay for both of them to go to Antarctica this December, and he sweetened the deal by agreeing to pay Mr. Meyer an additional $25,000 US if there was no 24-hour sun. After I communicated that to Mr. Meyer, I noticed that he just disappeared. Poof, gone. No sign anywhere of our German flat earth friend. Account deleted.
Shocking. Where does that put us?
I've tried from the very beginning of TFE to help bring both sides of this debate together, but the flat earth side consistently is just making themselves look bad. But turning down a trip to Antarctica, when you've been saying how much you want to go to Antarctica, and when you've been saying Antarctica holds the key to the shape of the earth, and Austin Whitsitt saying over 6 months ago that he was already planning a trip to Antarctica this December to see if there's a 24-hour sun or not, this is not a good look. That's actually something that will never be forgotten and will be forever attached to your reputation.
That's right, guys. You're having your shining reputation sullied. You are known worldwide as brave iconoclasts. Statues will be torn down if you don't get it together real fast. It sounds like Jaren and Austin are sort of trying to get it together.
So I met with both Jaren and Austin over Zoom last night, and they both did reiterate their commitment to going. The current holdup is the contract. Now, people have this impression, not from me, people have the impression that I am making them sign a contract, that I'm asking them to sign a contract. Nothing could be further from the truth. They asked me for a contract. Let me say that again. They asked me for a contract. Not only that, they gave me a detailed list of what they wanted in the contract, and I simply forwarded that list to my attorney, and he drafted an agreement based on their requests. Well, now they have all sorts of issues with it, and I'm a little perplexed as they're the ones who asked me for it in the first place.
Are you seeing a pattern of ridiculous demands that are then swiftly met, only for them to continue evading a firm response? Meanwhile, the other idiots are still crapping their pants and revising their entire worldview.
But you do have to go, Dave, though, right? So
what, to Antarctica? I never said I want to go to Antarctica and stare up at the sky. I said go to Antarctica, take 2 airplanes, and fly around the coast and meet on the other side.
Right.
I said that's a task, but I never said I want to go look at the lights in the sky. I did say 10 years ago that there's no circling sun in Antarctica. I still believe that today, right? But if the sun sets in Antarctica, the Earth is not a globe. That's just a fact, because the globe has its set parameters. If the sun sets, the Earth is not a globe. If the sun doesn't set, flat earthers can go, we don't know what the hell the sky is. That's it. It doesn't disprove flat Earth. It just disproves our understanding of the sky. Sorry, Globers, but that's the way it is. Doesn't seem fair, but that's the way it is because we don't have a set model like you do.
You have to love this moron flat out admitting they don't have a model, which means they have zero ability to explain how anything could possibly work on a flat Earth, something I've been telling them continually since my very first flat Earth debunk.
Therein lies the problem with the flat Earth model. You don't have one.
The fact that Weiss says this as some sort of flex is beyond hilarious. Other less stable flat earthers, however, are beginning to completely unravel psychologically because of this Antarctica trip.
And he's just gonna have he's just gonna have this mental apish breakdown. They're gonna try to get that, then that's gonna go, and then he's gonna go on mainstream. And he's gonna be on Good Morning America. The guy who used to think the earth was flat, Jaron Campanella, come out here, I thought it was flat, and everybody will laugh, and you guys are fucking around, even giving time to these nuts. I'm the guy who did it. I'm the king of this thing, okay? And you need to follow your king. I'm the king of the flat earth. There's no delusion here. They want to call me that. Thank you. Crown. I'm the guy. Brought in me. And I openly say it now. The artist that is known for painting space, outer space, and the globe, and the originator of the flat earth, the modern day flat earth. I put that now. And just look at me. Look at this guy.
Yeah, we're looking, buddy. Get some help. In the meantime, the stakes are being raised as per the participants.
This guy messages me, and this is what he says. His name is Will Duffy. He said, I heard you recently talking about the flat earth versus the globe debate. I'm a pastor from Colorado, and I've created something called The Final Experiment. It's a trip to Antarctica this December to settle the debate once and for all. It'd be really cool if you and or George joined us in Antarctica. But if not, I would be more than happy to come on your show to talk about it.
And I'm very excited to announce that although Candace Owens will not be able to go with us, she is sending her director with us, and she will be reporting on our trip this December through her director, who will be her boots on the ground in Antarctica, reporting back to her whether or not there was a 24-hour sun or if the sun rises and sets each day. Super cool.
Candace, of course, had a viral clip where she admitted she wasn't convinced the Earth is a sphere just to appear as insane as possible. So this is a nice way for her to backpedal to sanity. But it's also admittedly a nice addition to the attendance list, and flat earthers are freaking out about it. It makes it absolutely impossible for them to deny what the participants see when they go down there, and the 24-hour sun will be documented and publicized more than ever before. Then there was the guy who offered to pay for Nathan Oakley to go, who spinelessly turned it down. This invitation is now being extended to any other flat earther, so Will took applications and chose one live.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. Used to it, really. I just need a moment to process things. The Pyro Archon's requests are always difficult to fulfill.
And we have a winner.
We used to argue a lot. Honestly, it's probably for the better that
well, someone's excited, but it turned out that the golden ticket offer was from a scornful flat earther playing a prank.
I'm embarrassed to admit that I was scammed. I was deceived and duped by a flat earther concerning TFE's golden ticket offer.
She must have known that
It was not a
forging
real
ancient
offer.
name
I
for an
was being
outlander
lied
is an
to.
impossible
Not
task.
to worry, Will decided to crowdfund the golden ticket instead.
There's a link to Liz'
As you
GoFundMe
probably
below.
know, an ancient name
Once
is a
we hit
symbol
the
of a
goal,
hero's
which I
spirit
have
and
no
glory,
doubt
which
we'll hit,
grows even richer
I
and
will
heavier
announce
as
the
generations
real
of
golden
successors
ticket has
inherit
now been found.
We forge
Super
ancient
exciting
names
update
by
today.
engraving the heroic
Lisbeth
deeds of an
Acosta's
individual who
real
will become the
golden
first hero
ticket
of that particular
has
name.
been found.
And you won't be surprised to learn that it wasn't flat earthers who put the money down. In the meantime, the big name flat earthers, if that could be considered a thing that exists, just keep turning the trip down one by one,
They were all
such as
performed
arguably the most
outside
recognizable
of
name in
Matland,
Flat Earth, Mark Sargent.
We see with all the attention that you must be Mark Sargent.
I am Mark Sargent.
Mark Sargent is one of the leading voices in the Flat Earth movement.
So are you certain this is what the Earth looks like?
Pretty sure. Almost. I mean, there are some details to be worked out, sure, but the basic concept is sound.
Wow, this guy seems like he would want to know the truth, right? He's a real pro.
I was invited to do the Antarctic experiment down with Jaren and Witsits. Flat Earthers and Round Earthers don't mix. They never have. And that trip,
of all people should know better than anyone.
would I go
Yet
with
she's
an all Flat
still
Earth cast?
entrusted the
Sure.
task of forging
But
the
having
ancient
trolls, dedicated Round Earth trolls, for an extended trip like this, that's a nightmare. Ask anybody. It's like, no, it's white on white on white. Photographer, no. You guys are going to figure that out really quick. McKeegan. My God.
And just cold and miserable.
It's horrible.
Aw, Mark is scared of the mean globies who would ruin the free trip to Antarctica that otherwise should prove the Earth is flat, the thing he's been trying to do his entire adult life. What a baby.
And it's not
I
like
don't
I
trust
can
this
outright
man.
defy the order of
me
my
either.
archon.
And Mark's already building a fire for him.
Mark, you make the force. Like, what's
Sorry, I
going
keep hearing Will Duffy's name, and I just think flames. So
In other words, the order
that's for you. That's for you, Will.
Burn the witch! She turned me into a newt!
She accepted the task, but
I
now
got
she's
better.
looking for silverwine.
To wrap things up, neo-Nazi Eric Dubé finally formally declined as well. Sad face emoji.
Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about Eric Dubé. He is not easy to get a hold of. He doesn't respond to my emails. He doesn't attempt to reach out to me. I am very easy to get a hold of, as so many people can attest to. And so getting an answer from him was not easy. But the other day I noticed he released a new video, and so I commented and was one of the first people to comment. Here is what I said. Are you going to Antarctica with us? Someone has offered to pay for you. That, of course, was Mark Harmon. And Eric responded to me. He said, I already know the Earth is flat, Will, and so do you.
Actually, we all know the Earth is a sphere, including you, Eric. That's why you're passing on the opportunity to be the guy who conclusively debunked the globe. If you weren't a massive fraud, you'd say yes. Yoga pose!
If the Earth is flat, we can end the globe by showing a setting sun in Antarctica where there is supposed to be a 24-hour sun. Hear me out. Imagine we are all in Antarctica together. Me, Jared, Dave McKeegan, Austin Whitsitt, MC Toon, Lisbeth, and Critical Think. And the globe side gets all their camera gear set up because they are just so confident that the sun will never set. And then the sun sets. How powerful would that be? Jaren and Austin and Lise need to grab their own cameras and walk up to Dave McKeegan and say, Dave, where's the sun? They need to walk up to MC Toon and say, where's the sun, Toon? And walk up to Critical Think and say, where's the sun? Just point it out for me. Come on, where is it? I don't know about you, but I think that would be some incredible footage to have. Don't you?
It can't be expressed any more clearly than this. Anyone who actually believes the Earth is flat would definitely want to be there to personally prove it, and rub it in the faces of the Flat Earth debunkers who also will be there and have to react to the devastating result in real time. Therefore, any Flat Earther who is declining this fully funded trip knows that the Earth isn't flat. End of story. And that's also the end of my summary of this knee-slappingly hilarious series series of events.
Hopefully,
The big
Lobby
trip
would
is less than
still
2
wanna
months
show
away
respect to
now,
the
so why
Archon.
don't we check in with Will
I'll
Duffy
also write you a
himself
letter
about
on
the
your
status?
behalf.
Who
If you can
definitely
find someone
is
to
going,
deliver it
who
and mention
definitely
some good
is
things
not
about
going,
you,
and are there any more
that should help
surprises or
too.
changes that we can expect as the trip approaches? Here's that conversation now. Okay, everybody, we're here with Will. I've just got you up to speed on the final experiment. We're here now with the architect
All right,
himself.
Canich is a
Will,
seasoned
how's it going?
negotiator. I trust
Great.
he'll know the
Thanks
best
so much
things
for
to
having
say.
me.
Absolutely. So now that everybody knows what's going on,
please just give me a moment to write the
I also
letter,
would like to know,
and
where are
we
we
can
at
meet up
right
near the
now?
Statue of the Seven
Who
later.
is for sure going? Who is not going? I think I have an idea, but I'm not exactly sure what's been going on behind the scenes. So fill us in terms of that.
Yeah, so on the Flat Earth side, we've got Jaron Campanella, who runs Jaronism, Austin Whitsitt, who runs Whitsitt Gets It, and then Lisbeth Acosta. Those are the Flat Earthers that are confirmed, signed up to go to Antarctica. Then on the Globe side, we've got Dave McKeegan, MC Toon, and Critical Think. They all run debunking channels on YouTube. And so it's three from each side, which is pretty exciting.
Okay. So Jaron and Austin you're paying for, and then sorry, what's her name again? Lisbeth?
Lisbeth, yeah.
She got a crowdfunded ticket, and
Yep.
then Dave you're paying for, and then
Yep.
the other two guys they crowdfunded or something, or they're covering themselves, or
They're both crowdfunding, and then whatever shortage they have, they'll pay for themselves.
got it. Interesting. Okay, so I totally believe that Lisbeth is going because she seemed super duper excited. Do you really believe that Jaron and Austin are going to go?
I do. A lot of people have told me that they think they'll back out at the last minute. I hope that's not true, but time will tell.
I would put some money on that, but also, I don't know, they want to do this heroic thing. What do you think? So you're down there. Okay, first of all the flat earthers that are going to say, oh, it's not really Antarctica, or it's a different time or a day or something, or like, what do you anticipate in terms of their ridiculous excuses, and do you have any plans already to preemptively counter those?
Yeah, so I've tried to tell the flat earthers this entire time, if you see a potential issue or you think that we're going to lie or something's going to go wrong, give me the solution.
Right.
So that we can make sure that this doesn't happen, but they don't do that. So for example, I hear a lot that we're not going to be in Antarctica. And it's like, okay, well then where will we be? And the only answer I hear is Greenland or somewhere near the North Pole. And it's like, okay, well even in your model in December, there's no sun there. And
Right.
so we're trying to see if there's a 24-hour sun. So we're going to be at the southern tip of Chile. We'll be able to prove that to you guys. And then we're flying south from there. There's nowhere we can be that's covered in snow and ice other than Antarctica.
No, you're using a funky, globy, weirdo compass. You're not really going south. Also, how the hell are you going to get to Greenland in 3 hours from the southern tip of... Oh, my goodness. So what are the dates? What are the actual dates that you're going to be there? What's the duration?
It's 5 days. It's December 14th through the 18th are the days we'll actually be boots on the ground in Antarctica.
Yeah, and it will be sun visible in the sky the whole time, right? Even if there's like one overcast day or something, there's no way, right? You're definitely going to get the full 24 hours, and certainly probably a lot more than that of just direct visibility of the sun. What is everyone planning on doing? I mean, obviously they're not just going to stand there and go, yep, I saw it, or no, I didn't, right? Everybody's going to be filming something, right? I'm hoping that Jaron and Austin are going to be filming something, right? Have they said anything about their plans, or?
A little bit, not a lot. I think they're going to either invest in like a 360-degree camera or some sort of a camera mount that will move with the sun.
Yeah.
We're hoping to do a lot of live streaming down there with Starlink, and so yeah, I think we're gonna have terabytes of video. When we come back.
Yeah, each of them should be live streaming 24 hours, looking at the sun, right? That would be the most honorable thing to do. What do you think? I'm just trying to like, what are they going to say? Like, in my mind, like Jaron and Austin are both like doing this as a way out of flat Earth, so they can, like, Austin's been doing like politics stuff and that whole thing. So maybe he'll just completely pivot and he'll go, oh, I used to be a flat earther and now I do this other stuff. How do you think they're going to react? Like, maybe it's not for you to guess how they will react to seeing the 24-hour sun? Any idea? Has Jaren given you any indication of what he'll do?
A little bit. I mean, I've communicated with Jaren more than any other flat earther, way more than Austin. Austin barely responds to my texts or emails. I do think Jaren is, as they call themselves, truthers. And I think he is seeking truth. And so if he sees the 24-hour sun, I think he'll say, hey, guys, this doesn't work on a flat earth.
Well, I'm dubious. I don't know about this truther thing. But, okay. And then in terms of, I think what probably may end up happening is they are just then rejected by the flat earth community, who will all make up any reason imaginable to call them shills, and then just, Dubé is already doing that. That guy is freaking hilarious. Let's see. So what else? What do you plan to do? Obviously, you're going to come back and you're going to make a lot of content about it. You'll do a bunch of pieces probably highlighting what you did down there. What do you have? Do you have any plans for after all of...
Something I've noticed, which I think is fascinating and would be fascinating to your audience, is that flat earth content is extremely long. It's so long I can't even keep up with it. I was trying to make sure I know what they're saying, if they have questions for me, but like the average flat earth YouTube video is multiple hours long.
Yeah, 2-3 hours. They do their live streams because that's how they get their super chats and everything. Time consuming in terms of that, and then obviously time consuming in terms of wrangling flat earthers. What has been your experience obviously I probably know the answer to the question, but in terms of interacting with flat earthers versus the flat earth debunkers, what's that been like?
Yeah, so it's been night and day different. The globe side has been very nice to me. They have told me, Will, we don't need to prove the globe. It's already been proven 1,000 times over, but it's okay. This is a valid experiment. The flat earth side is really just a lot of vitriol, a lot of hatred, a lot of name calling, a lot of lies made up about me. Yeah. They just make stuff up about me.
Gee, what a surprise. Flat earthers making stuff up. It's interesting. If I had known what this all was when you first started sending out those emails, I might have been more enthusiastic, and then I might have been included on that poll, and I might have won the free trip. So that's my loss. But I think my wife would have killed me if she's like, "You're going? What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" We have 2 little kids. You don't go to Antarctica. But it would have been cool. What's my one chance to have a free trip to Antarctica. I don't know. I can't think of anything else. Do you have anything else you want to add, or concerns or goals or things that you're most excited about? Obviously, you're excited to go on the trip as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the main reasons I came up with this was because I think there is way too much time spent and energy wasted debating the shape of the Earth. There are valid things to debate, especially debating things that happened in the past, because we can't travel to the past, and so we have to look for clues and put our minds together to figure it out. This is something that is the shape of an object that happens to be the largest object you come in contact with on a daily basis. This is something, in my opinion, a child should be able to figure out. And so I want to end this debate and then hopefully have people channel their energies into something that will benefit humanity.
Well, yeah, I think that you probably will get a certain percentage of flat earthers. Sadly, I think that a good chunk will remain. But who knows? Maybe it'll just end the whole thing. I definitely tried. I tried my best to end it all, and it just kept going. So maybe this will be the thing. Well, anyway, yeah, I think I find it hilarious. Actually, making this video, I didn't know how hilarious it was going to be. I knew what the main guys were saying, but there are all those peripheral characters that are just losing it. It's just the funniest thing, and I'm pretty sure my viewers found it to be pretty funny. So we'll be waiting. If anything really interesting or unexpected happens, I can definitely do a follow-up video where I can talk about what happened down there and then talk to you again and get your impression of it. But other than that, I think everyone wants to thank you probably for being the one to put up a big chunk of money to hopefully shut these guys up for good. and it's quite a service, so we thank you for it.
For sure, I'll keep you guys updated.
And there you have it. Some people are going to Antarctica to prove what the rest of the world already knows and has known for 2,500 years. Will the flat earthers in attendance admit the Earth isn't flat? Will the sheep that follow them accept this revelation and attempt to get a life? Or will they make up some bullshit excuse to remain in their cult? Is this the straw that will finally break the back of the dumbest camel on the entire internet? I have my doubts, but maybe they'll surprise me. So that's it for this introduction to the final experiment. I hope you all find this as hilarious as I do, and truly, after debunking so many vile, dangerous charlatans in other realms, flat earthers just seem adorable in comparison. I guess that's why I just can't quit flat earth, no matter how hard I try. I mean, genuinely, all of this is so funny to me. Anyway, I'll keep you updated if anything interesting happens down there. See you next time.
Thank you for
Yoga pose. 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 Yoga pose.
Welcome to Professor...
I see everything. The Temple of Wisdom. Wings of Darkness. Blazing to light. Pew!